Hello and welcome. Today we're working in managerial accounting. We're working on the full course of managerial accounting. We're in the financial statement analysis chapter and we're working on profitability ratios. So I've got some examples for you on profitability ratios. Hey, if you're new, my name is Jeff from Finally Learn. Please join us. We're doing lots of accounting and finance, and please like, comment, subscribe, and let's get started. So here we have profitability ratios. We have about 6, looks like. So we have gross profit, operating profit, net profit, and then ROA, return on assets, ROE, and then the DuPont equation, which is a variation of the ROE. So here's what we're going to do on this. We're going to take the different profits divided by our sales, or our net income divided by our assets, and so on. So here's what we need on a problem like this. We need the income statement. So I've got the full income statement for the current year and the previous year. And then I have some summary balance sheet information. I've got assets, liabilities, and equity. So let's get started with each one all the way down. So here's what we're going to do. Let's look at the profit real quickly. So gross profit is the first one. And then operating profit, we might need something like EBIT or operating profit. And then we'll get net profit, which is the same thing as net income, net profit margin, right? So that's our first 3. And then we'll do divided by assets and things like that. So that's where we're working on our income statement. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our gross profit, which is up here, gross profit 170, and I'm going to divide by our sales. So it says for every dollar we have in sales, how much comes out as a gross profit? Well, I've already formatted it for percentages here. It's going to be 0.442, but as a percentage, it's 40.42%. So that means for every dollar in sales, we're making about 40 cents gross profit. That means our cost of goods sold is about 60%. Last year, we had a little bit lower gross profit margin, not much difference, but about 1% difference. And another way we're going to measure our profit is operating profit. So we need the earnings before interest and taxes, or the EBIT, and then divided by our net sales. Now, EBIT is going to be a very similar concept to operating profit. Sometimes you can just grab that number, but here's what happens. We have net income plus income tax gives us earnings before tax plus interest, and that will give us operating profit. So if we had to calculate it, we could take the 40 plus the 13 plus the 6,800, and that would equal our 61,000 here as our operating profit. We don't have to do that. We could just grab that number. So here we go. The operating profit is going to be 61,000 divided by original sales. So how much of our original sales comes down to the profit of operating profit? Well, like 14.5 cents, basically 14.5%. Once again, I've already formatted it for percentages just to save you a little time on the video. But you want to show this. Don't show it as 0.14. Show it as 14.47%. Don't show it as 0.08 as just a number. Make sure you have it as a percent. Now our next one has 2 names. It's either net profit margin, or sometimes it's called return on sales, or ROS. So we're going to take net income, the very final number here in our profit, 40,000 divided by our sales of 42,000. And so what happens is our net profit margin, or return on sales, is 9.64%. A little bit more than 9.6% is our profit margin, or net profit margin. Now, one of the things that happens is, be careful. If somebody just says profit margin, then you don't assume gross or operating. You're probably going to assume the net profit margin. But you always want to be clear. And you say, you mean net profit margin? And somebody else might say, what's the return on sales? Well, that's the net profit margin also. So be careful. It's confusing. Even if you're an experienced person, then you want to make sure you're communicating the same thing. So you say net profit margin, return on sales. So you're talking about net income as a percent of net sales. And yes, so make sure you communicate on this and make sure you're in good shape. So here, last year, it was 5.3%. Now it's 9. So we're happy we're making more profit as a percent, net profit margin, return on sales. Now we can do the same thing for return on assets. We might say, hey, we've invested all these assets. What kind of net income do we have based on those assets? So net income divided by the assets is going to be the return on assets, or ROA. And so that means for every dollar we've invested, we're making about 11.5% rate of return. We're going to measure that over time because you might have to borrow money to get some assets. You want to make sure that you're generating more than what it costs you to finance the money, more than your interest rate. Last year we were a little bit less profitable. Now we're at 11.4%. We're happier now because we had a higher profit, higher ROA. Now ROE, return on equity, is going to be net income divided by the equity, 174. Now this number is going to be higher. As long as we have debt, this number will be higher because equity is smaller than the total assets. See, if we have assets minus liabilities, you get equity. Because we have liabilities, then equity is smaller than assets. Now what if we had, I'll do this in just a second, let me copy it over. So what was it last year? ROE was 11.84. You're happier now with 23.36. Every dollar that our investors have put in, the owners have put in, we've made a 23% return on that. That's great. And so therefore, much better than the 11%. We want to be profitable. We need to make a profit. Now, let's go back and think about what we have. What if you had liabilities of zero? You didn't have any debt. Well, then your equity and your assets will be the same, and your ROA and ROE will be the same, right? Typically, that doesn't happen. If you have no debt, then you'd have the same because your assets and your equity would be exactly the same number. Well, we don't have that, so let's go back and put that number there, and we've got 23.36. Now, we also have, and I'll do a full video on DuPont equation, but let me show you where it is right now because it ties into ROE. Now, the DuPont equation, people at DuPont 100 years ago in the 1920s, I think, maybe even earlier than that, they figured out, hey, wait a minute, we can break down and figure out this ROE by taking return on sales times the total asset turnover times the equity multiplier, and we can figure out a different way to think about the return on equity. So let's do that real quickly, and I'll go in depth more in the second video, in the next video, but we're going to take return on assets times total asset turnover times equity multiplier. Here's the formula: net income divided by sales times sales divided by assets. So the sales will cancel out, and then sales times assets over equity, and the assets will cancel out. So what we have, the sales are going to cancel out, the assets will cancel out, and you'll have net income over equity. Just mathematically, it'll be ROE. So let me show you how this works. So one of the ways you measure profit is return on sales. And we already did this number up here, 9.64. So I'm going to copy that across. Isn't it awesome to use Excel? If you have to do this by hand, that's a lot of different calculations. What about total asset turnover? Well, I know you remember the formula. I just have it here for me, right? Well, the previous video or two, we did total asset turnover, and it's sales divided by assets. So let's take our sales. Let's take our sales number, the very, very top, divided by your assets. Now, what does that number give you? It gives you, for every dollar in assets, it generates how much in sales? Well, 1.18. This is the asset efficiency. Remember, this is in the activity ratios or the efficiency ratios. So 1.18, 1.06. We're a little bit more efficient in using assets to generate sales, right? Now, equity multiplier. I know you remember equity multiplier, but I have it here just for YouTube, just so they can see that we're really doing it. But remember, it's assets over equity. So we're going to take the assets over equity. So here the assets divided by equity, and we get 2.05. Now, remember, the first one is a percent. The next two are just numbers, which we call multiples, okay? So here's what we're going to do. We have all the return on sales, total asset turnover, and equity multiplier. So we need to take 9.64 times 1.18 times 2.05. Let me guess, I think it's going to be something like 23.36. No, I don't really know that number. It's going to be this number, ROE, right? Here's the clue. It's going to be 23.36 ROE if we did it correctly. We did it correctly, so therefore this just shows that we can calculate it not just a different way, but we can think of it differently. Because see, equity multiplier, what's missing here is the debt. If we have more debt, the equity multiplier goes up and our return on equity goes up. Does that make sense? If we have more debt, our equity goes down, right? Let me prove it to you. Let's say we have $300,000 of debt. Equity goes down. What do you think ROE does? ROE is going to go up 6.36, multiply it together, and you get ROE that's really enormous at 72%. Okay, so this is a way to think about what moves the needle on ROE. I'm going to go back and undo that, put that number back in there. And so this is how we do our basic profit analysis. Gross profit, operating profit, net profit, larger, medium, and smaller, and then return on assets, return on equity, and then we can break that down into components using the DuPont equation. Hey, I hope this is helpful. Please comment, like, subscribe. Please join us on all these videos. Ask your questions down below, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, and good luck.